What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some battles in the Open Great League featuring one of the latest Shadow Pokemon to be released in the world of Pokemon Go, Shadow Garbodor. Now this Pokemon is quite literally trash, but is it any good in the Go Battle League? Well, some people might not know, but this Pokemon has access to Seed Bomb, and with the Shadow bonus it can now deal enough damage to one-shot many of the Mud Boys in the meta, and it definitely caught out a few of my opponents, but outside of its ability to flip switch advantage up against unsuspecting Mud Boys, it is unfortunately just complete trash. Now maybe if this thing released a few seasons ago before the nerf to Body Slam, it could have had some decent neutral play, but with that nerf it definitely feels underwhelming. Also, I want to mention that I just powered up an XL Shadow Alolan Grimer specifically for this video as well, which cost me nearly 600k Stardust, and I have to say it probably wasn't worth that investment, but I was still able to win some very entertaining battles. Also, since it's currently Go Battle Week, that means I am once again hosting the Battle of Spice, a competition where my subscribers put together the spiciest and most unique team they can possibly think of and record a win with it in the Go Battle League. You can find out more about the competition and submit your entries by following the link in the pinned comment of this video or in the description of this video or any of my future videos throughout the rest of this week. With that being said, let's finally get into the question of the day. What do you think is the ugliest Pokemon in Pokemon Go? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Right, so going into the first battle, leading Drifblim into Walrein, so obviously not a great matchup for me. I'm going to be safe swapping into my Shadow Garbodor, and the opponent is choosing to stay in initially, firing off an Icicle Spear straight away, so I'm going to no-shield this. It does quite a lot of damage, but then they swap into a Quagsire. We're going straight for the Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb, double super effective. It gets the one-shot there. We flip switch advantage, and the opponent comes back in with their Walrein now. Unfortunately, they will be able to shield this. They probably will shield this now that they've seen the Seed Bomb and go for a huge Powder Snow farm down, coming out with tons of loaded energy, so I'm definitely going to respect the damage here. Could be an Earthquake. The opponent is going to bait with an Icicle Spear, but we can fire off a Crunch straight away, throwing on the CMP tie once again, and Crunch is going to be shielded by the opponent. It drops their defense. At this point, I'm just going to call the bait here, but the opponent full sends the Earthquake the second time round, but we did debuff their defense, so I can go for the full farm down, and the opponent's got Serperior in the back, so luckily for me, we can go straight for an Icy Wind here. Icy Wind going to debuff their attack. I don't have to shield anything anyways, but now I'm going to take even less damage here. The opponent fires off the Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant does do more damage than the Aerial, so it makes sense. However, doesn't really matter. Shadow Ball gets the KO. One more Astonish will be taking out the Walrein. It didn't matter that they had energy, they didn't have back-to-back charge moves, and they wouldn't have been able to throw both of them anyways, but GG's to the opponent there. And into the next battle, also not a great lead for us. Gonna say swap into Garbodor, and this time baiting out a Gastrodon, so once again going straight for the Seed Bomb here. Seed Bomb, once again, no shielded, double super effective, gets the one shot there, and they come back in with their Dugong. Now I'm gonna go and fire off the Body Slam. Since I will actually be able to reach another charge move here, I do bait, and we grab a shield from the Dugong. This time I try to commit to a Seed Bomb, but they do throw straight away. Or sorry, not straight away, but on the CMP tie with a potential Body Slam there, not allowing me to reach a Seed Bomb. So unfortunately there, we did not apply any more damage. We're now going to come in with the Grimer, and hopefully for me, it's another Grass type in the back. That would be very nice here. So I'm going to go and full send the Sludge Bomb. We are debuffed, so unfortunately it doesn't quite get the KO there, but I'm happy to let this move go through. They actually bait with another Icy Wind, but they've got Wigglytuff in the back, and unfortunately, if I'd have known that, of course, I would have just kept my Grimer alive. However, unfortunately, I did not read this team properly. They've got Wigglytuff. There's not a lot we can do here. Honestly, this is really awkward for me because if I shield this, which I'm going to, they can actually just come out with another charge we've loaded here. So what I'm going to try to do is throw at the last possible second here. But even then, Icy Wind is actually going to mean that they get off one more charm. They come out with another charge we've loaded. They are double debuffed, so this won't quite take us out here. But the damage is definitely done. They come in with the Dugong. One Ice Shard takes us out there. And unfortunately, despite Garbodor's best efforts to flip switch advantage, we're not able to capitalize, and I do lose that game. But GG's to opponent there. Into the next battle, we see a Shadow Palkia in the lead. So the opponent's now going to swap into a Toxapex, and this might be an opponent's Color Cup team, as it was very common towards the sort of, well, second week of the Color Cup to run Shadow Palkia in the lead with Toxapex, and then possibly like a, what's it called? what's the flying grass type Pokemon called? I've completely blanked for some reason. I just can't think of what it's called. Jumpluff, that's the one. Yeah, so Jumpluff, or potentially like a Trevenant or a Decidueye, something like that. But either way, I'm going to farm out 2 back-to-back Body Slams here. I wanted to reach back-to-back before throwing, just in case the opponent's Switch Clock did come back up and they were able to snipe with Dragon Breath damage, because of course, Dragon Breath going to do a lot more than the Poison Jabs, and it is going to be a Jumpluff in the back. So I can definitely no shield. Palkia does have a Charge Move already loaded. However, with the fast move pressure from my Drifloon and my Shadow Grimer, they will only reach 1 Charge Move on the Shadow Palkia. So at this point, we're just going to shield this up. The opponent goes for another Aerial Ace there. I'm going straight for the Crunch as soon as I get there, and then I will be swapping into my Drifloon and going straight for an Icy Wind. Crunch is going to grab the final shield. I'm able to snipe with the Icy Wind from my Drifloon. Icy Wind, double super effective. They come back in with the Palkia, and I'm able to put them into range where 1 Poison Jab takes out the Shadow Palkia, and I'm able to take that game. So GG to open there into next battle. We see a Shadow for Alligator in the lead, and we're met with a Dunsparce after our Shadow Garbodor safe swap. And unfortunately, this is a Pokemon that is really problematic for our team here. And unfortunately, you can see as well, Body Slams, they just don't do much damage at all. Drill Run actually gets the one shot there. I did not think it was going to do that much damage. I thought we might be able to hang on there and at least reach another Body Slam, put them potentially into Poison Jab farm down range. However, now, unfortunately, I will have to most likely double shield in this matchup if I want to keep my Grimer alive. So we're going to go and fire off a Crunch here. Crunch probably going to be shielded at this point, so we're going to go for 1 Poison Jab swap, make the catch onto my Drifloon. However, the opponent reads me like a book, and they fire off the Rock Slide there, predicting the swap into my Drifloon. Very smart play there from the opponent. They can now come back in with for Alligator, go straight for the Hydro Cannon, outpacing me to the Charge Move, and then I thought I'd win CMP here, but unfortunately that is not the case, so we just make another mistake there. Gonna go and undercharge the Crunch. Doesn't matter. It still does a lot of damage. It takes them out anyways. I should have fully undercharged that because they actually come back in with the Dunsparce and they've got a Shadow Jumpluff in the back. Now, I don't know if a Sludge Bomb would quite get the KO from this range. However, if we had back-to-back charge moves there, if we undercharged properly up against Feraligatr, potentially I could have flipped this matchup here despite the mistakes and despite the fact that the opponent had a really good team up against mine. But unfortunately, not able to capitalize and they're able to take that game. So GG to opponent there. Into the next battle, we see a Talonflame in the lead. So I'm not going to throw straight away here. The opponent is going to throw straight away, and that gives me an extra Astonish in for free. They then swap out there after throwing one more Incinerate into a Quagsire. Now, of course, Garbodor does have the coverage in Seed Bomb, but I'm not going to swap into it behind on energy because that just doesn't make any sense. And now we're going to go for the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is going to be no shielded. We take out the Quagsire before they throw any energy at all. And now they come back in with their Talonflame. So I'm going to swap into my Shadow Garbodor. I realize it's probably not going to be that useful into their backline, and we can just barely reach a Body Slam here before they can fully Incinerate farm me down. Body Slam is going to be shielded by the Talonflame. So at this point, I'm going to come in with my Shadow Grimer. I'm definitely going to shield up the Charge Move here as the opponent goes for another Fly there, and then they come in with a Gastrodon, so not really ideal for us, and actually Shadow Garbodor might have been better to keep alive rather than my Grimer. However, we go for Crunch. It does big damage, it drops their defense, and we can now come in with Driploom. If they're not running Water Pulse, we completely wall this moveset, allowing me to go for a full Astonish farm down, coming out 2 away from back-to-back Icy Winds, which is perfect for me. I can go for 1 Astonish, fire off the first one, a second Astonish coming through, and then firing off Icy Wind number 2. Icy Wind will get the KO up against the Talonflame, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's up in there. Into next battle, we see a Jumpluff in the lead. So this is fine for my entire team. However, I think Garbodor, despite having the sort of type advantage, probably does struggle up against Jumpluff. So we are going to just stay in here. They go for an Aerial Ace, which is fine with me. Even an Acrobatics wouldn't really threaten a shield here. We can now fire off an Icy Wind. Icy Wind is, of course, going to be shielded as it hits for double super effective. But I'm still happy to no shield the next charge move as well as they go for another Aerial Ace. They are now going to try and catch a move there, but they come in with a Diggersby, which is fine with me. We can go for another Icy Wind here. Icy Wind is going to drop their attack once again, and of course their fast moves are hitting for double resisted damage. I swap into Garbodor. I try to catch a Fire Punch there. It backfires as they can now full send a Scorching Sands. However, because they were debuffed, it doesn't get the KO, and Seed Bomb does respectable damage there. It puts them into range where hopefully I can just Poison Jab, farm them down with my Grimer. However, they still have a lot of energy, so what we're going to do is come back in with our Drifblim here. We should still just barely live a Fire Punch, so I will be swapping out straight away after this into my Shadow Grimer. The opponent also going to swap back into their Jumpluff, and we've got both our shields still in play here. So at this point, I might as well start shielding. I'm going to shield one Aerial Ace, commit to a full Poison Jab farm down, which means they will reach a second Aerial Ace here, but I'm feeling fairly good about this unless they have another ground type in the back. But let's see, the opponent is going to wait out their switch clock here before coming in with Annihilate, so going straight for Crunch here. Crunch is going to do some pretty decent damage in this matchup, and it's unfortunately not going to debuff their defense, but Drifblim able to triple resist the counter damage, just barely reaching an Icy Wind, grabbing the final shield here. I didn't want to throw straight away just in case the opponent tries to make a catch onto their Diggersby. We wait one turn just to make sure they were still going for counter. Crunch will of course get the KO here, and Poison Jab is enough damage to take out the Diggersby from that range, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's top on there. Into next battle, we see a Swampert in the lead. So this is a pretty good position for us to see it in. Of course, again, we do have Seed Bomb there, but we don't really want to swap into our Shadow Garbodor specifically for that matchup. So we're going to no-shield this. I'm going straight for Shadow Ball. I don't think there's any point in baiting here. Shadow Ball is going to be no-shielded by the opponent, but they come in with a Skarmory, which is definitely not ideal for us. I'm going to farm up to the Shadow Ball once again, but this time baiting with an Icy Wind. And unfortunately, the opponent is going to no-shield this. We come in with our Shadow Grimer, and the opponent comes in with a Registeel. So an opponent running Swampert, Skarmory, and Registeel in 2025. That is an absolute throwback of a team. But unfortunately, it's not really good for us here, as we're seeing Registeel can very comfortably tank 2 Crunches, and we're not going to be able to Poison Jab farm them down. And honestly, I don't think I'll even be able to take them out with a Body Slam from my Shadow Garbodor. So instead, we actually end up shielding there. I didn't really want to shield, but we're now going to fire for Crunch here. Crunch is going to be shielded by the Registeel, and they can reach another charge view. I did think about trying to make a catch there, but if I swapped out and the opponent didn't throw and they came back in with their Skarmory to farm me down, I think it would have been game over. So at this point, we're firing off the Body Slam. Body Slam is going to grab the final shield from the opponent. However, I'm thinking they're not going to go straight for Brave Bird. I was wrong. Brave Bird nearly one-shot, so we swap into our Drifblim, trying to capitalize on their debuff defense, but it's just not enough damage there. They're able to Air Slash, farm me down, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's top on there. Into next battle, we see a Talonflame in the lead. So once again, not going to throw straight away, but I will throw a Shadow Ball before they reach their charge move. So Shadow Ball, going to be no-shielded. The opponent lets the Talonflame go down. We're now going to come in with the Shadow Garbodor, and I will definitely respect the damage here. The opponent is going to bait with a Psychic Fangs, which is unfortunate because whilst it is super effective, we could tank that a lot more comfortably than an Aura will. But now we're going to go for a Body Slam, grab a shield back from the Morpeko. At this point, I'm not going to double shield this. So we're going to no-shield this. Psychic Fangs does big damage. It puts us, unfortunately, into Thundershock farm down range, but we're going to come in with the Grimer, and they've got a Chestnut in the back, so things are looking perfectly fine with us. We can just go straight for a Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb is no shielded. It's going to be game over. All we have to do here is correctly shoot up the charge sweep. Even if they bait, it doesn't make a difference here. One more Poison Jab will be taking out Morpeko, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's top end there. Into next battle, we see Drifblim into Talonflame once again. So honestly, there are lots of very similar teams right now. So basically, the team we just saw, I've seen that like so many times over the past few days, except instead of Chestnut, it was Serperior. Here again, we go straight for the Shadow Ball. This time they do actually shield this. So at this point, I'm actually going to no-shield. Flame Charge will be enough damage to take us out. I realize I can shield once and then come in and get a full farm down with my Shadow Grimer, and they do go for another Flame Charge there, which means they will land one double boosted Incinerate, but that's okay. They're now going to come in with Morpeko, and we're going to go and fire off a Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb should be shielded by the opponent, so maybe I could have baited with a Crunch, but at this point, they're just going to go straight for a Psychic Fangs. I can let this go through, so now we're going to swap into a Shadow Garbodor here, and the opponent is once again just going to go straight for a Psychic Fangs. So I'm actually going to no-shield this, and I'm going to overfarm by one Infestation, fire off the Body Slam. Body Slam should be enough damage to get the KO from this range, and it is going to be Serperior in the back. However, unfortunately, you're going to see Body Slam up against a fairly bulky Pokemon. Just doesn't do much damage whatsoever, and they can go for a full Vine Whip farm down here. We do just barely reach Body Slam number 2, but that is actually possibly slightly worse for me, because now they get more farm, they fire off the Aerial Ace, and they're we're able to reach a second aerial ace there. So honestly, if Garbodor went down before we reached that body slam, I would have been fine because I could have thrown a crunch on the CMP tie and won that game. But unfortunately, it was not meant to be. So GG's to the opponent there. Into next battle, we're going to see the opponent stage swaps into a Carbink. And honestly, we don't have a great response here. Whilst we are going to hit for super effective damage with Seed Bomb, 2 Seed Bombs just barely won't be enough damage to get the KO. And Infestation is unfortunately resisted by the Carbink. So we go for Seed Bomb there. You can see it just barely doesn't get them into the yellow health range. A second Seed Bomb will get them very low, however, so I'm going to throw it straight away, and the opponent is going to start shielding. At this point, they're probably going to double shield their Carbink, so we're going to go and fire off the Seed Bomb here. Seed Bomb is going to be shielded by the opponent, and that's okay. We come in with the Grimer. They actually swap back into Gastrodon, and that gives me a lifeline here. Of course, I'm going to no shield. Again, if they're not running Water Pulse, we completely wall them here, and these Body Slams, they are double resisted and non-stab, and also just they don't hit that hard anyways, so we're able to very comfortably tank this. I'm now going to fire off an Icy Wind. I realize Icy Wind probably won't KO, and it will put them into perfect farm down range where we can come out with a Shadow Ball loaded. So if they come back in with the Carbink, hopefully this is enough damage to get the KO. Shadow Ball actually doesn't quite take them out there, which is super frustrating. So at this point, we're going to shield. They go for a Power Gem. I'm then going to swap straight away, as I thought they might have had back-to-back charge moves. However, the opponent swaps into Clodsire, and that is not really ideal for me. We're going to fire for Crunch here. Crunch is not going to get the debuff, and they also throw just before we reach Crunch number 2. Earthquake is going to get the one shot. I realize if I go for an Icy Wind here, well, actually, let's see. The opponent is actually on Sludge Bomb. So Sludge Bomb, not enough damage to take us out. We're now going to full send a Shadow Ball. Icy Wind probably wouldn't quite get the KO. Shadow Ball does, and unfortunately, it's a simultaneous KO there, and we do end up tying that game. But GG's to up there into next battle, another Talonflame in the lead. So again, we're just going to go straight for the Shadow Ball if they allow me to get there, or if they do throw a charge move straight away. I'm now actually going to farm up 2 back-to-back Icy Winds instead, because I can get there just as the opponent is reaching their second fly. So we fire off Icy Wind number 1. Icy Wind is going to be shielded. We throw the next one straight away. The opponent actually opts for the extra Incinerate, which is definitely a smart play there. And now the opponent will actually not be able to fully farm me down though, so we can just let the Drifloon go down. Fly will be taking us out there. But we can come in, get the Poison Jab farm down with the Shadow Grimer, and we've got a 1 to 0 shield advantage, and they come in with a Wigglytuff. So this is fine with me. I'm just going to fire off the Sludge Bomb straight away. It might be like double charm. So Sludge Bomb is going to get the KO, and they've actually got an Annihilate in the back. So honestly, not really sure why they didn't come in with the Annihilate there. But either way, we can fire off a Crunch. Crunch is going to do big damage. We actually throw it on the CMP tire, which is perfect for me, because now we can just let this move go through. Rage Fist, going to boost up their attack. Doesn't really matter though. We can come in with the Garbodor, go straight for a Seed Bomb, and of course, from this range, Seed Bomb will be taking out Annihilate, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to up on there into next battle. We see Shadow Drifloon into a Guzzlord, so not ideal for us. We're going to try and swap out there. We actually get stuck in the Astonish there, but we bait out a Gastrodon. So once again, we can go straight for the Seed Bomb. I do actually overfarm a little bit too much here maybe, but Seed Bomb still gets the one shot, and let's see what the opponent wants to do. They're going to come in with a Galarian Corsola, which is unfortunate for us because they are resisting the Infestation damage, and Seed Bomb doesn't really do too much there. But now on this point, I'm thinking, what do I actually do here? Poison Jabs are resisted. Astonish is going to be super effective here, but we're also taking super effective damage. I guess I just saved my Grimer for the Guzzlord in the back. They go for a Nightshade there. We're going to shield that up, and then I swap. If I'd have just gone for like an Icy Wind there, that would have been perfect. They would have caught it onto the Guzzlord, and also it would have debuffed their attack, meaning I can take these moves a lot more comfortably on my Shadow Grimer. But now, unfortunately, Dragon Claw will put me into range where they can just Dragon Tail farm me all the way down. We do finally get a debuff with the Crunch, but it just doesn't really matter. We can fire off an Icy Wind here. Icy Wind is going to grab their final shield. I just have to no shield this. Nightshade would do more damage now that I've debuffed them, and they are actually just on Dragon Claw, so possibly Dragon Claw and Sludge Bomb. But either way, we're just so low here on the Drifloon. They swap back into Corsola. We can go straight for Icy Wind, but it doesn't get the KO anyways. They reach a Nightshade, and of course Nightshade will be enough damage to take out my Drifloon, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG stuff over there into the final battle of this video, leading into a Shadow Dragonite. So we're going to stay in this matchup here, and the opponent is going to throw straight away. So we get a full Astonish in for free, which means I will actually be able to go for a full Astonish farm down, but the opponent's going to swap into their Azumarill. So we go straight for a Shadow Ball, then swap into our Shadow Grimer, and Shadow Grimer should just barely be able to tank anything they throw here, aside from a Hydro Pump, but they wouldn't get there. They actually go straight for an Ice Beam there, which is fine with me. We can now go for a full Poison Jab farm down, coming out fairly low. They come back in with their Shadow Dragonite. I'm hoping to reach back-to-back crunches here, but unfortunately, we will just barely miss out. I've still put them into range, though, where 2 Astonishes will be able to get that farm down, and let's see, their final Pokemon is going to be a Ferrothorn, which is fine with me. I'm going to fire off the Shadow Ball here. I expect the opponent to no-shield the first charge move, so Shadow Ball is going to be no-shielded. It does huge damage, and that just guarantees the win at this point. I'm actually going to shield this just because Astonish obviously going to do more damage than the infestations. We are now going to swap into the Shadow Garbodor. Just one infestation gets the KO, and I'm able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to take your support even further, you can now become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already become a channel member. Your support is greatly appreciated. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.